Hello investors, welcome to Simply Stocks. So far on our channel, we have studied 10 good small cap businesses that have posted very strong results. The earning season is still underway. Companies are continuously releasing their September quarter or Q2 results. So in the third video of our Q2 FY26 result series, we will be discussing 5 new small cap businesses today that have posted very good results. We will understand the business models of these companies, we will look at their results, and we will also try to know what their future looks like. But remember, this video is in no way a buy or sell recommendation on these businesses. You must keep this in mind. With that, let's begin. The very first business we will study is Cartrade Tech. We covered Cartrade here on YouTube even after their June quarter results. Besides this, we have been covering it in our community for a very long time. Cartrade is a technology or platform company. They run apps and websites for the purchase and sale of new and second-hand cars and motorcycles. They have several platforms such as Carwale, Bikewale, Cartrade, Shriram Mall, etc., where you can go and get information on, and you can also buy both new and old vehicles. So basically, Cartrade is a platform business that connects car sellers with car buyers or customers, and auto dealers, auto companies, etc., can also come to their platforms and run ads so that they can increase their sales. They also have a remarketing segment where they conduct car auctions. Besides this, they recently also acquired the business of OLX India. You must be familiar with OLX. It is a marketplace for used products across many categories where you can buy and sell second-hand or used electronics, furniture, cars, etc. Now look, the strength or moat in Cartrade's business model is that it benefits from networking effects. You can understand networking effects this way. You are going to Cartrade to get information about vehicles because so many dealers and auto companies have listed their products there, and auto players come to their platforms to advertise their products because there are so many customers here. So the former is there because of the latter, and the latter is there because of the former. Or you can understand it this way. You use Instagram and WhatsApp because your friends use WhatsApp. So for a new company, it becomes very difficult to break an existing old business model which has networking effects. The second advantage is that it is a platform business. In such business models, the expense of building or developing the platform happens all at once in the initial years. Now, when your sales increase, your technology cost does not increase at the same speed. There is some maintenance expense and some upgradation is needed, but expenses do not increase that fast. In such a situation, what happens is when sales increase, margins expand very rapidly. The third strength in their model is that 95% new visitors traffic is organic right now. This means they do not have to spend on marketing to attract new customers to Cartrade or their platforms like Carwale, Bikewale, OLX, etc. These users are coming to their platforms on their own or through word of mouth. In this scenario, taking the second point and third point together, we can say that their expenses will not increase at the same speed at which their sales are increasing. In this direction, you will also see that their sales increased by 25% in Q2 compared to the previous year, while expenses increased by only 7%. That is why the EBITDA increased by 94% compared to the last year, or it has almost doubled, so to speak. And the EBITDA margin has also gone straight from 21% to 33%. This is a very good improvement in margin. Because of this, their profit has more than doubled from the previous year or grown by 109% to 64 crore this quarter. All these figures are in lakhs, so you must keep that in mind. So seeing this, we can say that Cartrade has achieved very good operating leverage, and this operating leverage will keep benefiting this business in the future as well. The EBITDA margin in their consumer group business has reached 40%, and management is talking about taking it to 50-55% in the future. Besides this, the acquired OLX India business has also improved. Last quarter, it was lagging a bit. In Q2, here too, the growth has improved. Sales grew by 17% this quarter. Margin expansion has also happened here. EBITDA margin has gone from 18% to 30%. So this is a good business that you can study yourself. The valuation might seem a bit high to you as a screener is currently showing a PE of 80. But you need to look at this business from a different perspective. Growth is already coming in at a rate of 20 to 25%, and according to my estimates, Cartrade can easily bring in sales of 950 CR next year. Margins will increase, because of operating leverage. So the forward PE can come down to 40 in the bear case and 35 in the bull case. Even if you are not comfortable with this valuation, you can still keep Cartrade on your radar for future corrections. After Cartrade, we will study two microcap businesses. The first one is Utsav CZ Gold Jewels. Utsav had its IPO last year. It is a B2B jewelry manufacturer, meaning they manufacture jewelry for other jewelry retailing companies in the market. Talking about their customers, PN Gadgil, Vaibhav Jewels, Bhima Jewelers, Neelkant Jewelers are their famous customers. Utsav's client base is mostly from South India. For example, 38% of their sales come from Maharashtra, 14 to 15% from Tamil Nadu, and then Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, and Gujarat together have a share of around 25% in sales. They specialize in 20 and 22 carat lightweight jewelry in which they make earrings, pendants, rings, bracelets, etc. Their results have been quite good. This is an SME business, so results come once in 6 months. You will see in H1, meaning in these months of April to September, their sales have increased by 67% compared to last year, and their EBITDA has increased by 184% or has tripled, so to speak. In this direction, the EBITDA margin has also increased from 5.6% to 9.5%. This growth has not come solely from the increase in the price of gold. Volume growth is also there, around 25%. So we can say that Utsav has benefited from the rising gold prices, but they have also manufactured and sold 25% more jewelry than last year. Profit growth has also been good. Profit has tripled from last year to 29 CR this year, and PAT margin has gone from 3.5% to 6.2%. Like Sky Gold, Utsav is also Mumbai based. They have around 8,300 square feet area facility in Andheri, from which they can make 1.5 tons of jewelry every year. They will be adding another 5,600 square feet production area, so their manufacturing capacity will increase from 1.5 ton to 2.5 ton per year. So we see a good visibility of growth here in the future as well. Utsav is targeting sales of 1100 to 1200 crores this year. Their sales last year were around 650 CR. In this case, if they achieve this year's target, it will be approximately 85% top line growth. Besides, their net profit for the entire last year was 25 crore, and mind you, they have already clocked a profit of 29 crore in H1 of this year. H2 is stronger for H1 for jewelry companies because Diwali, Dhanteras, and then marriages also fall in H2. So even if we remain conservative here and assume that in H2 they will at least make as much as profit as they did in H1, around 30 CR, then Utsav can earn a profit of around 60 crore this whole year. In this scenario, Utsav's forward PE comes out to just 10 to 11 on the estimated profit of this year, which is a very good valuation for a business growing so fast. Besides, their long-term target is to have 4,000 to 5,000 CR sales by FY30, which translates to an excellent 35 to 40% CAGR sales growth from the FY26 levels. So Utsav is a good microcap business that you can study yourself once. The risk here is to watch out for is that since it is an SME business, it is not ideal for small portfolios. You'll have to look at your allocation if you are interested in this business. After Utsav, the next microcap business or the third business on our list that we will look at is SKM Egg Products. You must have guessed from the name itself that this company might be in the business of eggs. SKM has a market cap of around 1000 to 1100 crore, and they are in the business of manufacturing, processing, and supply of eggs, egg powder, and liquid egg. They have their own poultry farms where they prepare eggs, process them, and then supply them in India and other countries as well. Just like there is milk powder, there is egg powder. And just like milk comes in Tetra packs, there is also liquid egg, which has a longer shelf life. Their use is more common in the confectionery, baking, and FMCG sectors. Most of SKM sales come from Japan, Russia, and Europe. And SKM is actually India's largest exporter of egg products. They have about 65 to 70% market share in egg product exports. But what happened was that due to the fall in prices of egg products in the international markets, their last year went very bad. You will see that their sales fell by 29% from 690 CR to 490 CR approx. But the business has improved very well this year. You will see that in the June quarter, SKM sales increased by 49% compared to the last year. And then in the September quarter, meaning in these 3 months from July to September, their sales have increased by 58%. And the reason behind this is bird flu has occurred in USA, Europe and Japan. So what has happened is that production of eggs has decreased there, and in many places poultry culling is also being done, but the demand for eggs is still there, right? So the exports of dried egg powder and egg liquid from India have increased. But the problem with SKM here is that their management neither releases investor presentations nor holds conference calls. So we don't have any specific information to figure out what's going on in the business. I got this little bit of information in their annual report. In it, they have said it that they are looking for new distributors and partners in Russia to expand their egg powder business there. There is very good confectionery and baking demand for egg powder in Russia, and this is also their main market. So SKM is a commodity business which you can study yourself once, but you should not expect too much from it, because see, firstly, it is such a small company, there is no investor communication, and then it is a complete commodity business. In this situation, there is a very big risk of volatility in margins, but its valuation is currently quite attractive. For example, you will see SKM has so far made a profit of 40 CR in H1, or basically in the months of April to September. If we assume the same profit of 60 crore for the remaining 6 months, then SKM can do a profit of around 80 crore in FY26. Screener is currently showing a PE of 20, but on a forward basis, the PE comes out to just 14 to 15. So in the short term, due to bird flu, the exports of egg products from India will remain in focus, and we can see good top line and bottom line expansion in SKM for the next 3 to 6 months as well. Now, before we move on to the third stock, a humble request. If you are liking this video so far, do give me a thumbs up. Also, you can subscribe to our channel Simply Stocks, where we bring multiple such videos every week. Honestly, your likes and subscribes are our only motivation so that we keep bringing such high quality research to you for free. So do like this video, and yes, also subscribe to our channel as well. Now let us come back to our discussion. The fourth stock we will study is SBFC Finance. This is an NBFC or non-banking financial institution. It is in the business of giving loans or credit. SBFC is a small cap NBFC with an AUM of approx 10,000 CR, and they have 220 branches across the country. AUM is the money you have given out on loans. SBFC has expertise in giving loans of 5 to 30 lakh rupees to MSMEs, meaning small businesses. A loan size of 5 to 30 lakh is a very good segment. In the entire MSME lending sector, the share of this segment is 28%. But mind you, this segment is growing the fastest at 24.4% CAGR. As for the AUM of approx 10,000 CR that SBFC currently has, this money they have borrowed from big names like State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, HDFC and Bajaj. Now, let us quickly look at their results. Their AUM has increased by 29% in Q2 compared to the previous year, and their future target is also to continue growing at this 30% rate. In this case, we can say that we have before us a fast growing business from a fast growing segment. You will see here that companies' NPAs have increased very slightly, but that is not very big problem right now. Yes, you will see a very sharp increment, although in the DPD plus 1 bucket. In DPD plus 1, you get those customers whose EMI or loan installment has been delayed by 1 day or more from the due date. When the installment is delayed by more than 90 days, it then becomes your NPA. But you will see here, even though the DPD plus 1 bucket has increased quarter on quarter, you will see that NPAs have not increased that fast. This means that their customers are although making late payments, but it is not like they are missing installments. Currently, there is some stress in the entire MSME space. So even in such a bad environment, SBFC is able to bring 30% AUM growth, and the asset quality is also stable. So these are very good numbers. Management has also said that although DPD customers have increased, the rate at which they were increasing before, that rate has come down. But what happens when DPD buckets increase is that your credit cost increases. Because of this, you will see that their total income has increased by 31%, which is very excellent. But because the credit cost went up rapidly, SBFC did not get the benefit of operating leverage. PAT growth also remained only 30%. But all this stress, in my understanding, is temporary. we will start seeing good operating leverage in this business after 2-3 quarters. So SBFC's results have also been strong. It is a good fast growing NBFC that you can study yourself once. The fifth and final business that we will look at is Samhi Hotels. Samhi is a small cap hotel company and they operate 31 hotels under famous international brands like Marriott, Hyatt and Sheraton. Samhi's model is such that they mostly look for such properties or hotels that are not doing well, and then after renovating and rebranding them, they operate them under good brands. But one negative point in this model is that renovating these properties requires a lot of investment. So their balance sheet will always look heavy, debt will always be higher. Samhi targets business and commercial travelers, and most of their hotels are also in metro cities like Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi NCR, and Chennai, which are the biggest office markets in our country. Besides, internally too, they are carrying out expansion and renovation of their properties. Currently, about 42% of their portfolio consists of upscale or premium hotels, but after rebranding and renovation, 60% of their business will be coming from premium hotels. Let us look at the results now. Their sales have increased by 11% compared to the previous year, and there has been a good growth of, mind you, 179% in profit before tax. That is pure operating leverage. PBTE has increased from 14 CR last year to 38 CR. We will not look at profit after tax because they have received one-time benefit of approximately 100 CR from exceptional items. These are good numbers. In this direction, their management has also targeted to grow their sales at rate of 9 to 11% in the medium to long term. This 10 to 11% sales growth might seem low to you, but see, hotels are asset heavy businesses. Operating leverage is immense here. So even this 10-11% sales growth brings about 20 to 30% growth in bottom line because the expenses of running your hotel remain almost the same. Now they currently have approx 4,900 operational rooms, in which 473 rooms, approximately 10%, are undergoing rebranding. Besides, 1,500 more will be added in the future. Apart from these, they have a hotel planned in Bangalore with 220 rooms, in Hyderabad with 260 rooms, and a very large hotel in Mumbai with approximately 700 rooms. The update on it has come out recently. These three properties will drive growth in Samhi in the long term. Now, if you like this video, do give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to our channel Simply Stocks. Your likes and subscribes are the only motivation for us to keep bringing such high quality research videos for you for free every week. So don't forget to like this video and yes, also subscribe to our channel. I'll meet you in the next video. Happy investing.